Right. Good morning, everybody. Can you hear me? Thank you for taking the time with me today. I know all you are very busy professionals, and I don't want to take up your time on IT issues because I know your number one focus needs to be taking care of customers and running your business. So I'll be as brief as possible, but I promise you what I'm going to share with you today is an extremely important topic that you must address. And I am going to urge you to pay attention because there is immediate action required at the end of this session that all of you need to take to protect your organizations. What we're going to cover here today is the number one threat to your business that antivirus, firewalls, and other security protocols just aren't protecting anymore. Why traditional firewalls and antivirus are useless against these new threats, and the truth about the downtime and how it impacts your business. What we really want to avoid is that your business is not sitting out there as a sitting duck waiting for cyber criminals to take everything you've worked so hard to gain and produce. And as a bonus, thanks to generous support from our partners at Datto, I have 3 $100 Amazon gift cards to give away during the course of today's presentation. When I ask the questions, just reply in the Q&A chat field for your chance to win. Well, your chances could be pretty good. We're also giving away some free tools for your organization, so make sure to stick around until the end. A little bit about me before we get rolling. I'm the president of Invario Network Engineers. We've been in business for over 30 years providing IT services in the Washington, D.C. area. I'm an advanced security practitioner, a Microsoft certified system engineer, and have never had a customer have to pay a ransom. And over the last several years, there's been a significant increase in the sophistication, frequency, and severity of cybercrime attacks, which I'll be covering in a minute. Because of this, we've been watching these trends and putting in place new security controls to protect our customers. However, many things that worked even 3 years ago are no longer effective. Plus, the attacks are becoming more frequent, more vicious, and carrying much bigger consequences. This is why we're talking to you today, and it's very real and very serious threat that is escalating, especially in the world's workforce as people are working from unsecure home networks. Oops. And also, October 1 is the first day of October, which is Cybersecurity Month, and Invario is an official champion of the Cybersecurity Awareness Month, which was launched by the National Cybersecurity Alliance and the U.S. Department of Homeland Security. It's a collaborative effort between government and industries to ensure every American has resources to stay safer online. We're proud to be a part of that. During the COVID-19 pandemic, the FBI's Internet Crime Complaint Center, the IC3, reported that complaints rose from 1,000 complaints a day to 3,000 to 4,000 complaints per day. That's just since March. These criminals are ruthless individuals who don't hesitate to take advantage of any opportunity, no matter how reprehensible we may think it is. For example, the ransom attack on Universal Health Services over 400 locations on September 28th is depriving Americans of medical care. Computers that were once a useful tool have now become a matter of life and death. And then I want you to look at this last bullet here, that 50% of business PCs and 50% of consumer PCs that got infected once were reinfected within the same year. So If you've been hit, chances are you're going to get hit again. Let's take a look at what's been happening over the past few years. And I'm going to give an example of 4 cyber attacks and look at their motivation. But first, a quick evolution of crime. In the old days, it was pretty simple. You bought a gun or a knife and hid out in an alley. Then when someone would walk by, you jump out and say, "Stick them up," and take their money. Startup costs and overhead were low, and if you didn't get caught, you'd be okay. But just like any business owner, criminals started thinking, how can I grow my business? The answer was to use technology. Trains came along, and instead of robbing one person at a time, you'd rob 200 or 300 people. Robbing trains was far more lucrative than robbing individuals because they were full of wealthy targets all in one place, and that place was often remote. But thanks to today's advancement in technology, increasing trend of storing financial and personal information on third-party cloud platforms, the new train robberies are cyber crime related. Think about it. If a criminal wants to rob 100,000 people all at once, all they need is a hack into a single large platform that they can use advanced technology to instantly rob millions. And there, as you can tell, an increasing number of attacks that make the news every day. Just a couple of weeks ago, the Justice Department announced charges against alleged Chinese citizens accused of hacking over 100 companies in the United States, including tech companies, game makers, universities, and think tanks. These are the criminals of today. This is the first example of an attack in 2014 on JP Morgan, where tens of millions of credit cards were stolen. About that, never in history of mankind has one person or a small group of people been able to rob so many people so quickly in one fell swoop. Another attack was the recent attack on Equifax, and this was where they stole credit information on 140 million different people. Instead of getting people's credit cards this time, they get their personal information, and this leads to identity theft and attacks in that regard. The Ashley Madison hack in July of 2015 exposed users of that morally questionable website was able to release their identity and then opening those people up to blackmail because they don't want their information in Ashley Madison known. So that's another risk. And finally, in 2012, 167 million accounts with username and passwords were stolen from LinkedIn. And this is still being used today. Many business owners in 2012 were setting up their LinkedIn for the first time, used whatever password they used for all their websites because that's all they could remember. Well, that password is the first place a hacker is going to start. This is still to this day a very rich database. Add a little bit of artificial intelligence to change a O to a 0 or put an exclamation point on the end, and these passwords still work in a surprising number of places. So what's motivating them? Obviously money. Those were 4 examples with different types of data and how they've monetized it. It's easy to get into, and these information that is stolen have real value in the real world. Even an amateur can expect to make $80,000 a month in this business. So it is lucrative. However, the best always get caught. Stealing money isn't the only motivation, though. As we will show, they can use your processing power to send emails or process stolen credit cards, or host illegal software. So they gain access to your system and then use its computational power. Maybe they're in it for the fun. Maybe they want to show off to their friends that they've compromised your system. Other people are influenced by ideology, that they feel your company is doing something they don't agree with, and they're going to do something to stop you. And espionage is another big threat, especially by other nations. I don't think it's an accident that the Russian advanced fighter looks a lot like the American fighter, because they probably got a hold of the plans. So what is enabling them? To become a hacker, it's pretty easy. You just need a laptop and an internet connection. There are hundreds of websites where you can download exploit kits and just play around. Malware can run on autopilot, where you can just set up a routine that just crawls the internet, and when it finds a susceptible exploit, it will notify you and you're off to the races. And another thing that makes it very easy is that the Internet of Things, your thermostat, your refrigerator, your smart speaker, are all accessing the internet and are all also inside your home. And as I mentioned before, the FBI is just overwhelmed with the cases and don't expect them to come to your aid. So criminals oftentimes get a free pass. So if it's so common, why aren't we hearing about this more? Well, if you're a victim, number one, it's embarrassing. Number two, you may not even know you've been hacked. Three, it's pretty bad for your reputation. That's a strong incentive to keep anything like this quiet. Laws requiring fines and remediation have become very expensive, and there's definitely a blame the victim mentality. But you may be thinking, well, I'm small, nobody's going to attack me. Well, wrong. 1 in 5 small businesses falls to cybercrime each year, and this number is growing. And half of all cyber attacks are aimed at small businesses. And it's not because you're well known or have great marketing or information or money that people want to get. You are a target of opportunity and the easiest to exploit. So this number here, 79,841, is the average direct cost of a cyber attack on a small business. But this is the cost to just get back, but there are additional costs as well. Like, it's embarrassing, protecting employees and clients' data. You may have to buy credit monitoring for your customers. There's damage to your reputation, and how do you put a number on that? You may lose customers because they may decide that they don't feel safe because their data was exposed. You can be subject to lawsuits and legal fees and fines for being out of compliance, and you may have to actually replace data if you're not able to recover from a ransomware attack. And the real cost is your downtime and lost productivity. So please do not underestimate the importance of addressing and protecting yourself now. The financial and reputational ramifications, not to mention the aggravation, business disruption, and anxiety this brings, is being routinely underestimated. Here's a little fact. Most fire alarms are sold to people who had a fire after they lost everything. Most home security systems are sold to the same way, after someone has already violated their home, stolen things, shaken up their sense of security, upset their wife and kids, and all these people never thought that would happen to me, which is why they didn't have the alarm system in the first place. A single breach can produce hours of extra work for your already overburdened employees, days, if not weeks of downtime, irate clients, cash flow disruptions by down systems, inability to service clients and take orders, possibly even the inability to make payroll if your payroll account is compromised and the funds are gone. And all this will end up in your office. So I highly recommend investing before you have a loss. Here are the 3 biggest threats to your organization and how to stop them. And the number 1 threat to your business is, and I would ask anybody if they would write in the comments what they think the biggest threat. And the first one would get an Amazon business card. Do we have any answers in the comments?
Dave, we have an answer from Nancy. She thinks it's your employees.
Well, she would be correct. And Nancy gets a gift card, and we will get her email address. So we'll send that Amazon card to her. Your employees, even good employees, they make mistakes, they may delete things. They may use free and unsecured file sharing just as a matter of convenience. And with more people using personal devices at work or working from home during the pandemic, this is a real issue. Another thing your employees often do is what's referred to as shadow IT. The employees figure out a way to save data or work more conveniently to them. They may set up their own Dropbox account, for example, and you may not know that your company data is out there under their personal account. Unsecured mobile devices, phones and laptops can be lost or stolen. 80% of the cost of a laptop is not from a data breach. It is from a data breach, not the laptop itself. It's important that we protect these devices, and there are many ways to do that. And then finally, we get to sort of the disgruntled employees and vendors who have been fired, who also pose a huge threat, since they often have direct access to a lot of your data and applications. They may make fraudulent purchases using company or customer data. They may delete your data on their way out. They may steal software. They may steal contacts or business intellectual property that they plan to use on your next job. So very important to watch employees on the way out. The number 2 threat to your business is malware and ransomware. Think about that. You can't just think a simple firewall and antivirus is enough these days with the proliferation and sophistication of these attacks. Having a firewall and antivirus is like trying to stop a tank with a squirt gun. 350,000 new malware threats are being released per day, and attacks have rose 79% recently and are continuing to grow. So here's a question that we may, if we have some more gift card, and the question is, what kind of writing pays the most? Do we have any budding authors out there? Please put your comments, your answer in the comment section, and hopefully we'll have a winner. Do we have a winner yet?
No, Dave, we have a couple of guesses, but no winner on this one.
All right, well, I thought it was the most high-paying writing is ransom notes. Haha. Also, we're seeing a new threat. This is released by the FBI just this August. It's a ransom denial of service attack. So basically the way this works is the hacker will reach out to the business and say, if you don't pay me, I am going to initiate a denial of service attack. They may demonstrate their capabilities. And if you don't pay within a certain amount of time, they basically bring down your business. There's a group called Fancy Bear in Russia that's taking claim to this. And this is a real threat. And the business owner can do a return on investment to see how much the downtime would cost versus the paying the ransom, and sometimes the ransom gets paid. Threat number 3. Do we know what? Shall we open this one up for a guess on our third card, our third giveaway of this seminar?
Sure, let's open it up, Dave. So you're asking people to reply in if they know what threat number 3 is? Hold on 1 second and we'll give them a chance.
Remembered from the beginning where we talked about your employees' ransomware. And then the last thing we're going to talk about was interruption to your business in the form of do we have an answer yet?
So we have a couple of answers. We've seen hackers, phishing, and downtime. Are any of those correct, Dave?
And the answer is downtime. Yes, 70% of small businesses that experience a major data loss go out of business within a year. So that's really something to think of, that everything can be perfectly fine and rosy, and then the next minute it is quite awful. Data loss means downtime, and downtime is going to impact your bottom line. It's going to impact the people and systems costs to keep everybody, their lost productivity, to reputation, to get everything going. The physical damage to your machine, the replacing of hardware if that's needed, or rebuilding of systems, just takes time, and time is money. And not to mention the effect it's going to have on your reputation. So unplanned downtime may be an IT function, but it is a business concern. It's not a question of if, it's when. And these numbers are real. So protecting your data is protecting your business. I think it's really important when you think about your business that you have a way of recovering quickly and recovering data up to a point where you can continue. You don't want to lose too much data, and you want to get back up online as fast as possible. That it's important to prepare now, or get your ducks in a row, get your business working, and so you can save later. The downtime is estimated at $8,600 per hour, and the average downtime is 7 hours. But as I mentioned before, there are lots of other costs associated with downtime. So some say it's a matter of if, but often when your business falls victim of a cybercrime attack, these are the things that are going to happen. You are going to be blamed. There's no sympathy for your business is hacked or wrongfully labeled. You'll be wrongfully labeled irresponsible and stupid. You may be questioned, possibly investigated about why you did not prevent this from happening. You may need to notify clients that you exposed their data to cyber criminals, or at least were hacked, losing files and data, delaying projects, and halting services. Just this week, I got a letter from Inova, my healthcare provider, that my data was compromised. It's happening all the time. If the news gets wind, or your competitors get wind of this, there are people that may want to destroy you using this information. And the cost of restoring your data and getting back to work quickly will escalate. And your insurance claims, they may deny you. If you look at your policy, if they often will deny it, saying that you did not have all the security controls in place, and therefore they're not paying your client. And to make things worse, it just got the fines are escalating. If your device was lost or stolen and the data was not encrypted, maybe you've been in violation of breach laws. Maybe you're liable for civil actions or regulatory enforcement. And that's just a little note on Virginia law and what constitutes private information that if you store this data, you could be responsible for. So how do you protect yourself? There are 3 steps to protecting your organization, and this is what you should do now. Number 1, you should do a threat assessment. What's lacking in your security right now? Are your systems truly backed up? Where are you exposed to risk? And it's to sit down and think about it with, what could happen and where would you likely be attacked from? And then with that information, you create an action plan. These are usually security policies, incident response plans, teams. It's not only cybersecurity, but it's also processes and business processes that go into making your organization secure. And finally, it's important to just ongoing maintenance. This is, once you're done, you're not done yet. It's a continual thing. And as I've shown, new attacks are happening all the time. Well, we have good news. The first step is free. We can offer a free threat assessment for your organization as a thank you for coming in, listening to this webinar. I'm going to try to eliminate any speed bumps to getting you protected from cyber criminals. And for those who don't know me, I'm offering this as a way for you to get to know me and my company and demonstrate how we can help you without any risk or obligation to you. And when this threat assessment is complete, you will know what percentage of your users are prone to phishing. 93% of all malware comes in through email, and we've never seen any customer pass this test with 100% accuracy. And it just takes one, and to make the bad things happen. We'll show you how you stack against peers with the new phishing benchmarks. We'll see how you compare to other industries. Also, we'll include free just phishing your users. It's a $150 value. we'll have some simulated emails, and we'll report back on how your users did. And there's more. I talked about that LinkedIn hack where all these passwords were compromised. There are many, many more passwords. You'd be probably interested to know, what passwords are out there that are associated to your email or your company's domain. And there's quite a few, and we can provide that for you for free as a thank you for being here. Things you need to know. Well, there's no obligation, as I said before, on this assessment, but I'm only offering it to 5 people in October because it takes a little while to set up on our end to make sure that it works properly for you. And this is an application only, so I'm going to ask you to just connect to our website, and here's the link here. And Fran, if you don't mind putting that link in the chat box so everybody can get it.
You got it, Dave.
All right, awesome. And it's a simple form, and we'll just make sure that we'll reach out and set that up with you. And also anybody who's gotten a gift card, make sure that we have your email so we can get that sent out to you. And finally, I want to just urge you that I know you're extremely busy and there's enormous temptation to discard this, shrug it off, worry about it later, or dismiss it altogether. That is undoubtedly the easiest choice, but the easy choice is rarely the right choice. This I can guarantee. At some point, you will have to deal with a cybersecurity event. It will happen. Hopefully, you'll be brilliantly prepared for it and experience only minor inconvenience at most. But if you wait and do nothing, I can practically guarantee this will be far more costly, disruptive, and devastating attack that will happen to your business. I spent a lifetime working hard to get where you are today. Don't let some low-life thief operating outside the law in another country get away with taking that from you, and certainly don't hope your IT guy has you covered. Get the facts and be certain you are protected. And once again, here is the link, and look forward to working with some of you on this. Are there any questions that came up in the chat?
We just had one question from Nancy. She was asking about the Inova hack, and I let her know that it just happened in September.
Yep.
And any other stories you want to share, Dave, of hacks you've seen with some of your customers?
Well, I would say the most costly hacks that I've seen, or potentially costly, all have to do with often something called CEO fraud. And again, it's the attacker uses email, probably some social engineering. They get to sort of know a company, know who the administrative assistant is, and then would spoof an email from the assistant's boss and ask for a variety of things, the simplest being a bunch of gift cards because it's a surprise. That didn't seem too strong, but where it can get serious is where the request is to change the banking information on a wire transfer. And I can't emphasize it enough that it's critical that any change in banking information or a flow of cash should be verified outside of email. Yes, the email is great at sending the information, but it needs to be confirmed by some other method. Pick up the phone, give them a call, talk to somebody else. Make sure that you're not changing the direction of money flow based on email.
Great, thanks, Dave. I'm going to post that URL one more time, and if there are no other questions, we are going to wrap up today's webinar.
All right, that was great. Thank you, everybody, for coming, and yay, first one. Look forward to doing many more.
All right, thanks, everyone. Have a great day.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.